People rave about the price and range, but the owners hate reality. Charging errors, frozen screens, and parts that take weeks to arrive. Is the Atto 3 a steal or a headache? You have seen the headlines. BYD flooded the markets, undercut prices, and pushed EVs into lots of driveways. But buyers are now posting long waits at workshops, weird infotainment strikes, and chargers that refuse to play nice. In this video, I'll walk you through what's going right, what's going wrong, and the single decision point that turns this car into a bargain or a regret. I'll show owners' reports, news, investigations, and simple checks to make before you sign papers. The good news first, values and specs. The Atto 3 landed as a sweet spot. Roomy cabin, solid real-world range, and a price tag that undercut many rivals. That rapid growth helped BYD become the world's biggest EV seller in recent years, and the company is pushing hard into markets like Australia and Europe. Those facts explain why so many buyers gave the Atto 3 a shot. It looks like a big upgrade on paper, especially for people switching from ICE to electric on a budget. But then the complaints start. Real owner problems that repeat. Owners started reporting patterns. Charging sessions that show charging interrupted or simply won't start at certain public chargers, the infotainment screen freezing and needing reboots, and in some regions long waits for parts and repair after accidents. Those aren't one-off forum grumbles. You can find multiple threads, local news stories, and videos all describing similar headaches. If you rely on public chargers or expect a quick service, these reports matter. But why does this happen? Software and supply chain stress. A lot of the trouble traces back to two linked causes. First, the Atto 3 is highly software defined. Its infotainment and charging logic are complex Android-based system that gets updates over the air. That's great in theory, but software can glitch, and glitching systems are what owners report. Freezing screens, failed handshakes with chargers, and odd error messages. Second, BYD's explosive sales growth outpaced local service networks in some markets. So when something does fail, parts and technicians aren't always immediately available. That gap between demand and local service capacity explains long repair times reported by owners. But it gets worse in a few stories. Safety and privacy scares. There are higher profile incidents that push this from inconvenience to scary. A small number of Australian owners reported dramatic battery failures while driving. And there were media exposes about a SIM or eSIM vulnerability that allegedly allowed external calls into the cabin on Atto 3 cars, a privacy and safety flag that BYD had to work with local telco partners to fix. These cases are rare compared with total sales, but they hit trust hard when they happen. But what do the data and service notes say? Service reports and forums point to a few measurable problem areas. Charging or communication errors, multiple owners' threads show compatibility problems with certain public chargers and home chargers. Sometimes the car refuses to wake or the session stalls. This often resolved with software fixes or simple resets. But it's a frequent frustration. 12-volt battery and sleep mode quirks. Some owners reported 12-volt battery drain, or the car failing to wake from a deep sleep, which can block charging until a manual reset or service. These are small fixes but big headaches when they happen away from home. Parts and repair wait time. In hot markets like Australia, rapid sales meant local spare parts inventories were low and dealers had long queues. Several news stories and owners' thread document delay measured in weeks to months for some repairs. But here's how the nightmare flips to best decision. Simple owner behaviors that help. If you want the Atto 3 to stay a smart buy instead of a pocket of stress, these are practical moves that make the difference. Check local dealer capacity before you buy. If the local work has a small footprint, repairs and parts may take longer. If you live near a well-resourced dealer, your experience will be smoother. Check local dealer capacity before you buy. If the local network has a small footprint, repairs and parts may take longer. If you live near a well-resourced dealer, your experience will be smoother. Ask for the current software update policy and build date. Cars with newer OTA fixes often have fewer charge, handshake, and infotainment freezes. Insist they push the latest updates before delivery. Test charging at local public stations and at home before you buy, not just visually. but start a session and let it run for a few minutes. If the car struggles with local chargers, that's a red flag. Community threads show compatibility varies by chargers and by country. But still people love the value. Why demand remains strong? Despite the issues, BYD's combination of aggressive pricing, good efficiency, and real driving range keeps demand high. For many buyers, the money saved upfront and the low running costs are decisive. Also, BYD is actively expanding service centers and warehousing in some markets to address the parts backlog. A sign the company recognizes the problem and is investing to fix it. That investment matters. It's why some early pain could be temporary rather than permanent. The core decision for a buyer, risk versus reward. Here's the boil down. The Atto tree gives you strong value and performance, but it also exposes you to software quirks and possible service delays. Depending on where you live, that trade-off forces a simple question. Are you buying the car for its price and range today, or are you buying it into BYD's ecosystem hoping service and fixes catch up? Your tolerance for risk and the quality of local support decides whether the purchase is a hit or a headache. How to evaluate if this is a right buy for you, step by step. Ask these hard but quick questions at any dealership or private sale. Where will repairs be done? And what is the current wait time for the common parts? If the dealer can't tell you a practical ETA, that's a red flag. Can you see a full charging session on a local public charger and confirm there are no problems with it? If the car struggles, factor in downtime risk. Are over-the-air updates current? And will the dealer install any pending updates before delivery? Ask for the build's software version. If you get comfortable with these answers, the Atto tree often looks like a very smart buy, especially for urban drivers who mostly charge at home and prioritize value. If you can't get a clear answers, you may want to wait for better local support or pick a rival with stronger after sales in your area. A decisive anecdote, a real owner story that shows both sides. One Canberra family experienced a frightening battery failure on the highway and then long battle with the dealer. They walked away saying the experience completely turned us off. That's the nightmare headline. But other owners report smooth 2-year ownership with minimal issues, a great city commuter experience, and low running costs. Those owners typically had strong local dealer support or bought later production cars with more OTA fixes. That's the best decision side. The difference between the two outcomes often comes down to timing, location, and how well the dealer handles software and parts logistics. The final verdict, practical, not ideological. If you want the short answer, BYD Atto 3 can be either a nightmare or a best decision. And the difference is not mystical. It's concrete and measurable. Dealer readiness, software maturity, and local support, and local charging compatibility. Do your homework, test the car with local chargers, demand the latest updates on the car, and check the dealer's parts and service plan. Do that and you're likely to get the high-value EV. Skip the homework and you might end up spending time in workshops and on hold with support. If you want to learn more about the battery management system in the electric vehicles, how it calculates state of charge, state of health, and other parameters, you can click on the link in the description in the bio. Thank you.